go to part 2. So GPU path tracing does not show the skybox, but if you go out here, you can see the skybox. If you go to GPU path tracing, it'll just be white. But if you go to all lighting, you'll see the skybox. Now I'm going to select the, whoops. I'm going to bring him up and over to be near my light. Now the light, the color, I'm going to get from this kind of white there. What the kind of that yellow. They kind of got that sunset vibe. And then something else you're going to want to do is going in here, you're going to do shadows. And you're going to have that. So now that I have that, and I kind of got my player here. And my path tracing. I am going to go back to just all lighting. And I'm going to do info player counter terrorist. So that way we have where the counter terrorist spawn. You want to bring them a couple units above the ground. And I'm going to have it be, this would be like a 5v5 map. So let's have that. 1, 2, 3. It'd be smart that they don't spawn out in the open. 3, 4. I don't know, the 5th one can be in the back, kind of. And I am just going to select all of them and bring them back a little bit. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to browse the content drawer and search for trigger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the my square brush. And this would be a scenario where you want to use the top-down view. I'm going to click and drag and fill it up. Make it a little bit bigger than what it needs to be. And from the side view, I'm going to make it taller. So this right here is a trigger. Here, actually, I'll make it go only a little bit into the walls. So we have this trigger right here. Let's go back. We are going to select it, tie selected mesh entity, and we're going to search for func by zone. And team number is going to be 1. going to be 3. And the team number is going to be 3 because that stands for the counter-terrorists. So when somebody is inside this room, the buy zone will be there. So now that we have the player spawn, I think it's time for me to work on the actual map itself. And one thing I can already tell just by looking at it already is that this is quite a large map. I'm going to grab these two. I'm going to go into scaling, and I'm going to increase my grid size to like 64. I'm just going to make this map a little bit thinner. I think that's a good width. Now, as for like depth of the map, I think this is quite good. So I have that, and I'm just going to go back to full bright. So we have the counter-terrorist spawn and them going in. So, they're going to spawn in and want to cause some damage. They're going to walk out, and immediately, I believe we should place down some cover. There should be some cover objects. And I'm not going to do, well, I am going to have some standard blocks and stuff, but I also want to do some custom, weird looking things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my block, and I am going to shift right click to get the material. And I grid 64. I'm going to do a 128 by 128. How about 192 by 192? And go up. I'm going to select all the faces. I'm going to do Shift X. I'm going to drag around here. Or actually, this height is a little too big. So let me grab this top face and bring it down a little bit. Trying to match the player door. So that is a height of 128. Height of 128. Though I am going to bring it up slightly. I'm going to decrease my grid size. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. So now I'm going to select all edges, do Shift X, click and drag. Remember to have that mode there. And you can actually place this entity anywhere. You don't have to click and drag in there. So I do all that, and then do Shift X and put it there. It still does it there. That way, if you want to make sure everything is lined up exactly. Whoops. So I think that's a good thing. So I'm going to select that. And then what I'm also going to do is I need to make some side pieces. So I'm going to go back down here to my slicing. I'm just going to do a vertical slice. That way I can get the 2 lines. And once again, I'm going to do this on all sides. What I'm trying to make is like little, like one of those hamster hidey holes. So I'm going to slice, and now I'm going to go into edge select. Select all these edges. And I am going to scale them out. All right, well, it seems like I don't want to do it the way I just did. Select these two. Let's make the grid 16. I'm going to leave 2 squares at each end. And now I have these faces here. I'm going to select these 4 faces, and I am going to delete them. And inside here, I'm going to select these edges. You know what? Instead, I'm going to grab this face just realized I have this face right here that I don't need. But here, let me grab this. I'm going to go down here to the Edge Arc tool. Let's adjust that. Ooh. Now, basically what I had to do was select this edge right here. So I'm just going to select all of these edges. You don't need to select the perimeter, just like the part that will be arced. Use the Edge Arc tool. Bring it up, and I was worried. Let me bring this down a little bit. Here, I'm going to just select the entire ring. Bring this down a little bit. And then I'm going to use the Edge Arc tool to make my arch. Push enter. And now I'm going to have this little room right here that the player can enter into. Now there's no like solidify tool like what you have in Blender. So you have to like drag and make the room yourself. So actually, before I do this, I'm going to select the object. And scale it inward a little bit. I'm going to flip the normals. And we are going to have some weird faces going on down here. I'm going to try and click. You know, it might be best that before I flip, all right, so I have this bottom face right here. I'm going to delete that. That way I don't run into that issue again. You know, select the object. Hold down Shift. I'm just going to scale on one side. Scale on the other side. Flip normals. That way we are inside. I'm going to bring down the roof slightly. Basically, I'm going to decrease the grid to like 8. That way it looks like it has some thickness to it. And now we have our little archway. And probably a better way of doing this I'm going to select these vertices and just bring them over so that they are in line with their outer counterpart. You know what? How about I do select this object? And now on a scale of 8, I scale it out. And now I'm going to go into edges. I'm going to select the edges and do B. I'm gonna select that whole edge group, do fill hole, fill hole, fill hole, fill hole. And you can see the UVs are kind of messed up. I don't know why this one's so different. Something went wrong in this fill hole. Compared to these over here. Because these are not fine. So you can also do. Well, select that inner ring, scale it out. And these faces are quite broken. I'd say ideally you wouldn't want to do it the way I just did it. Well, he's quite broken because I didn't do this. Let's just select the entire thing, align the grid. And now it is all aligned to grid. So let's go into like the GPU path tracing mode. And he looks good to me. The lighting seems fine on him too. So now I'm just gonna go back to, I think all lighting mode's a good mode to be in. Or go back to this. So now I have this object right here. And it's all one object now because I connected the meshes together. So I have that little hidey hole object, and I'm just going to shift, kind of drag it around the environment. Kind of stagnated. You get some cover here. And I think to make it more interesting, I'm gonna go on these edges. I got these objects here. And what I could have done was make it an instance, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to say that for right now, this part of the map is done. So now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go into object mode, select all of my objects here. And doing all that. I'm going to shift back over here, and I'm in the top-down view of the map. I'm going to do Shift F, and I'm going to drag a line. Now, ideally, I'll be locked in at my huge count. So let me go back and select all this right here. Because I kind of need all of that. Go in here, select my trigger, select my player, select my lights. Have all that selected. I'm going to do Shift F down the center of the map. And that is the mirror tool. So you can see everything has been mirrored to the other side. I'm going to push enter. So now I'm over here in the terrace team. I'm going to make this by zone 2. I'm going to make all of these info player terrace. So they're all terrace spawns. And everything copied over correctly. So I can go back into the path tracing. Lights, everything are good. And another thought I had was I should probably do the same thing with these covers right here. We'll select those and delete them. This one, I want to move maybe here. Select those two, do Shift F across the center of the map, or what I think is the center. Yeah, that looks okay to me. Push enter on that. Select those two. Just going to scale them. You know, kind of keep it like that. So now we're back in. And one thing was I wanted the terrace, or I'm going to have them be on the same, but there's going to be something up on like this middle level right here. So I'm going to grab my brush, switch to the top-down view. And kind of guess where the center of the map is. Looks like I didn't mirror these over that well. Whoops. Did something. Ooh. So I somehow managed to screw up the grid. So that's like 2 blocks away. That's 3 blocks away. All right, now that looks more centered. 3, 3. So I am going to grab my brush. Apparently there's something right here. I'm gonna grab these faces right here. I'll grab the whole object. Or scale that out a little bit. Now one thing is this bomb site might be kind of unfairly, uh, if you're up here, you can kind of get everyone from down below, which probably won't be fun. So what I'm gonna do is it's kind of gonna all be in a container of some sort. And it's going to be very distinct areas where you have to get up and into it. I'm going to make my grid size smaller. Let's drag up to the ceiling. Let's drag that up to the ceiling. And now, just like last time, I am going to select this object and I'm going to bring it down just so that the ceiling is covering the entire thing. And I am going to add a door. So let me select that face, those faces right there. And this would be an instance where I use Shift X. So after that's the left part of the door. To push space, you can place another one if I have to redo it. The other part of the door. Then how about that's the height? One thing I'm actually going to do again is I'm going to place down another player start. Just so I get an idea about the scale. And you know what, that seems fine actually. So now I'm going to delete these two faces. Going to edge select mode. Okay, probably not that. So I got that door or entrance. And I just realized I'm missing that right there. We do the same thing over here. I'm gonna bring this guy over here. So this area is going to be a bomb site. So I'm going to search for the trigger again. Going to my block. Bomb site would be this. This would be an instance where I want to go top down and make sure I am all scaled correctly. How about I do escape? Oh, we go 4 down, 2 from the wall. And that is obviously not centered. And my ground's so thick, so I'm just gonna extend it out a little bit. I might as well make it go back all the way. I'm going to select the object. So the bomb target, this would be bomb site A. How about bomb site B? So this will be bomb site B. Quite a small bomb site. But this would be where I'm going to add in just some random pieces of cover here. You know, like there's that wall. But we got like a square. Just something quick and dirty to have in the map. And whoops. Let's put you there. You know, something random. Some random blocks. We got a thin one there. Oops. Let's bring him up a little bit. How about I rotate this at like a weird angle. Definitely gonna make him thinner though. I'm just gonna do local. That way, I'm making it smaller. It's not being warped weirdly. So you know, there's kind of the bomb site. Now, obviously, there's going to need to be some ways up. So the way we're going to do that is I'm going to make a tube that goes up and over into this platform I'm about to add. So make it the height of the door. We go all the way over here. I will make it thick. Let's drag it over. Put that up. So now we kind of have this walkway, and let's make it a little bit wider than what it needs to. That way the player doesn't feel weird when they're on it. Now to make our little tubes and stuff, I am going to select this face, and I'm going to make some cuts into it. And ideally, well, I can always move some stuff, but I'm just going to have, I'm going to use a cut tool. Let's make it, it has to be kind of small. It is a tube. Whoops. Make a cut. Well, there, so you kind of have to jump into it. I think these edges are too close to each other. How would I do that at a smaller scale? I mean, if you're a player, it's kind of a one-player thing. So I'm going to select this face. Push T, I'm going to hold down Shift and extrude it out. Or you know what, before I do that, how about I select the edges, and how about I bevel them? So I was running into that issue earlier. I'm going to select this face and I am going to delete it. I'm going to use the arc tool. You know what, I'm already seeing an issue. I'm just going to drag these up a little bit. So now I'm going to go into the face and I'm going to delete the face, select the edge, edge arc tool. I think have it like that. That's too weird. So now I got this arc right here. I am going to shift, drag it out. Then I kind of want it to curve up seamlessly. So I'm going to go here, change my rotation angle to 5 degrees. I'm going to push insert on my keyboard to adjust the pivot. I'll hold down R, I'm going to do shift, that, do shift G. So now I have this perfect curve right there. And you know what? Before I finish doing this part right here, I'm going to go up here and make my exit. So let me grab, select the faces. I believe we had it like kind of there. It was like, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 blocks up from the floor. So we got that one. Reduce space. And this next one was around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then half on each side of the big blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That seems to be what we had. Do shift. Delete this face. Edges. Select the edges. Edge arc tool. I totally forgot what I used. You know what? I'll come to that when I get this piece up there. So now I'm going to go back into my side view. I'm going to select that this edge ring right here. I'm going to extend it up. Drag the pivot over. Now obviously that does not line up with our hole right here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to select the edge ring. And the one thing I'm going to do is just select the entire thing. Just going to do align a grid. And you know what? That seems close enough to me. Now I'm just going to do edges.